Here we go again with yet another person that is unhappy with the PlayStation 5 when it's compared to the Xbox Series X. Let's get into why multiple gamers and media types are sick of the PS5 and why they're moving over to the Xbox ecosystem more and more. There's a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that like button if you enjoy the content. The support is greatly appreciated. Alright, so yet again, we have another person that is frustrated with the PS5 and has voiced their opinion that the PlayStation 5 is just not as good of value when it's compared to the Xbox Series X. Now, you know I've made a couple of videos about this and talked about some of the other media types that have seemingly left the PlayStation platform so they can go over to the Xbox platform. And from those videos and articles, we know that Xbox has truly made it almost necessary for you to buy their console or at least be a part of their ecosystem with Xbox Game Pass. And from the looks of this article and the many gamers that have jumped over to the Xbox platform, Microsoft is winning a lot of gamers over, while at the same time making Sony's PlayStation 5 look like much worse of a deal. Here's what the article starts off by saying. PS5 isn't good value compared to the Xbox Series X, and I'm sick of it. Opinion: greatness awaits on PS5 for the payers. Man, talk about a title that really sticks out and makes people stop and look at what exactly is going on. Now, of course, most people will chalk this up as hyperbolic and move on or just yell at the person writing this article. But if you actually read the article and take some of the points the person is making, you can see that they're pretty fair with their comparison. Here's what the article says about the PS5's launch and the Xbox Series X launch. Despite being enamored with the PS5 at launch, my enthusiasm for the system has slowly begun to wane. The PlayStation 5 is an accomplished console with some fantastic features, but one ugly truth is starting to become abundantly clear. The PS5 can't compete with Microsoft's Xbox Series X when it comes to value. And it's why I found myself playing on the Xbox Series X far more than PS5. Even before Microsoft's flagship console was released, I stated that the Xbox Series X was already better value than the PS5, and honestly, that gap has widened considerably almost 5 months since the console's released, to the point where it's making Sony's tried and trusted strategy look horribly outdated. Wow, way to start off the article on the right foot. Now, we all know that a lot of people that love the PlayStation platform will just attack and yell from the rooftops. But if we take a moment to understand why this person is saying this, we have to agree on a lot of aspects he brings up. The first part is that they were enamored with the PS5 at launch, and to be quite honest, so was I. I loved playing Miles Morales, I love the new PlayStation app on my phone, the experience in the UI was great, I truly enjoyed playing on my PS5. In fact, I was playing on the console for 3 straight weeks as I was always going there for their exclusive games. Yet once December hit and I got my Series X, I haven't turned on my PS5 since. And since then, Xbox has provided me so many huge game experiences that it's almost hard to go over to the PS5 because they just don't have anything to play right now. And for a company that needs you to buy their hardware, that's not a good sign, and it's something that the article mentions right here. Unlike Microsoft then, Sony has to sell you a PS5 if it wants to make money. It can't monetize users who don't own its hardware, outside of PC players subscribing to PS Now to stream PS4, PS3, and PS2 games via the cloud or picking up the odd PS4 port, and historically, platform holders don't tend to make any profit on hardware until many years into a console generation. It's traditionally software sales, add-ons, subscriptions, and even accessories that provide the biggest yields. This has to be the biggest difference between the two companies. Sony needs you to buy a PS5, which they've been doing a very good job at, but they also need you to pay $70 for a single game, which just seems like a very archaic way of doing business, especially when your top competitors providing amazing experiences and third-party AAA games on a service that's only $15 a month. Not to mention you get hundreds of games on PC and Xbox, not to mention xCloud. The value is insane, and it's something that Sony just can't compete with. And gamers are starting to notice the difference between the two companies, which the article mentions right here. But once Sony sells you a PS5, it needs to turn that hardware loss into a profit. It's no surprise that Sony's hottest commodities, its first-party lineup, now costs $70, and that it continues to sign exclusivity deals with third-party publishers like Square Enix for blockbuster games like Final Fantasy XVI. It's also tried to make PlayStation Plus more appealing by including 20 games for free for PS5 owners, and PS Now thankfully added the option to download games. though its library still pales in comparison to Xbox Game Pass, and there are no PS5 titles available. Microsoft's service has 37 Xbox Series XS optimized titles for comparison's sake, a number which will continue to grow. Microsoft, meanwhile, is in a completely different position. It simply wants to attract more Xbox Game Pass subscribers to drive its bottom line. If it manages to sell hardware, it's a massive bonus and obviously a lucrative one, but it's no longer solely reliant on needing consumers to do so. While a company's profit and loss chart doesn't bother me in the slightest, these differing strategies are starting to ultimately affect the consumer, and it's Microsoft's approach that is paying dividends for gamers and myself who simply want to play more titles. And that's the funniest part about this whole thing. People used to always brag and talk about how many sale figures the PS4 had, or how PS5 just broke so many console sale records. And all of that is great, and it's great for the industry knowing there's so many gamers out there wanting more games. But the difference between the two companies is staggering to the point it's affecting customers like us. I'll be the first to admit, I don't care about console sales and how many units sold. This doesn't help me enjoy a game more. What I care about is that the companies make enough money to make more games and help developers make even more games that I'm going to enjoy. And see, now Sony's not going to have a Days Gone 2 because it wasn't as profitable, or how they'll only focus on massive AAA big sellers. That scares me because they are relying on people spending more money. All the while, Xbox is just flooding the market with great games and a lot of content so we can be a part of the service that costs us gamers less money. That to me is insane to think about, because while Sony makes great games, that doesn't mean they aren't pressured to make those games sell millions upon millions of copies, or the studios making those games will have to adjust what they're doing, much like Sony Ben had to do in order for them to make a game they wanted to make, which makes joining Xbox as a developer that much better. But more importantly, it makes gamers look at Xbox in a much more appealing light, which the article mentions right here. Much like how Netflix has changed the film and television industry, Xbox Game Pass has delivered the same type of seismic shift for video games. Unsurprisingly, it's the key reason why I turn my Xbox Series X almost every night. There's always something to play that's either passed me by, just been added, or recently optimized for Microsoft's current Edge consoles. The article continues to explain how Game Pass is $10 and that you can buy any game on the service for 20% off. The deals and discounts just stack on top of each other, which makes the subscription service that much better. Throw in Xbox Game Studio games going in there day and date, and you have a subscription service that has truly changed the landscape of the entire gaming industry, to which Xbox could have stopped right there and rested on their morals on being the best service in gaming with their first-party games coming there day and date. But that's not what Microsoft did. Instead, they doubled down to make it the service that all gamers truly need to be a part of, which the article mentions here. That in itself might be enough for some people to subscribe, but Microsoft has managed to sweeten the deal even further in recent months by securing an increasing number of noteworthy third-party titles. Outriders and the previously PlayStation exclusive baseball sim, MLB The Show 21, are both available on Xbox Game Pass day one. And Octopath Traveler, one of the best Nintendo Switch games, dropped on the service at launch. If you want to play Outriders or MLB The Show 2021 on PS5, you're looking at $60 or $70 respectively. And that's the difference here, people. Xbox isn't just resting and waiting for someone to catch up to them. They're cultivating relationships with third-party developers, making their lives easier, flooding them with money and opportunities on Xbox Game Pass. Xbox is making the Series X and S consoles the best place to play your games, and the most valued place to play. Unlike Sony, who is continuing their old ways of doing things and expecting gamers to pay out the nose for entertainment, which is something the article mentions again right here. As someone who basically only spends their disposable income on video games, I really should buy some more clothes one day. This price differential is simply too significant to ignore, and it's for this reason that I've found myself gravitating back towards the Xbox Series X after initially being wooed by Sony's new console. There are simply more games to play right now, and I don't need to break open my wallet to experience the majority of them. But it's Microsoft who is consistently giving me reasons to turn on its console. Xbox Game Pass is the key driver in all of this. But features like FPS Boost also make me feel like I'm getting more bang for my buck. Xbox also has a clever reward system in place that encourages you to play and complete quests to earn Microsoft reward points. You can then redeem these by either entering competitions or simply getting Xbox credit. You're essentially being paid to play. Sony, it seems, is happy to sit back until its next big title comes out, but that simply isn't enough to warrant owning a $500 console when the competition is bending over backwards to please its install base. Even when Sony does show its more generous side with its Play at Home initiative, the titles on offer are often games PlayStation owners will have undoubtedly played before or many years old. And there you have it, people. This is where I want to end this video because what's being said here is true. Sony is just sitting back and trying to catch lightning in a bottle again with the PS5, not realizing that the gaming landscape is very different and Xbox has changed the way things are done in the gaming market. No longer do people have to pay $60 just to play a single game. No longer do we wait for the publisher like Sony to tell us how to play our games or where to play them. Xbox is giving gamers choice in how they want to play and where they want to play their games. And it's starting to show that Sony will soon need something to combat the amount of hype and momentum Xbox has gained the last several months. I think Sony has the first party output to do that. They just need to get their infrastructure fixed, and they also need to make the value of the PS5 better overall. Let's hope the competition continues between the two companies because that just means nothing but great things for us, the gamers. But enough of what I think about all of this. Tell me what you think about all of this. Are you sick of Sony not competing with Game Pass? Can you see even more gamers leave Sony to join Xbox? What can Sony do to compete with Xbox's momentum? Will this hurt Sony in the long run if they don't change things up? Will Xbox allow Sony to catch up if they make a Game Pass subscription? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support helps out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamertag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. So right now, I've been playing a bunch of Outriders. That game is so much fun. After they patched it up a little bit, me and my buddy have been going through it and having a great time with that game. It gets pretty intense once you start getting up the world tiers and leveling up and getting to max level, and I'm having a lot of fun with it, so I really recommend people check it out. It's on Game Pass, or if you're on Sony, you got to pay $70 for it, which kind of sucks, but hey, I think it's kind of worth it. It's a great game, so go check that out. And I've been playing Bulletstorm because it was on sale and I wanted to play it, so I bought it, and it's a pretty great game. But let me know what you're playing. Go down below. Are you working on something now? Are you working on Outriders? Are you on your PS5 or your Xbox? Let me know down below because I want to know what you're playing, and that's what we're here for, to discuss games. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.